Hello dear student, today we are going to start the chapter number 10 from your chemistry textbook. The name of chapter is the state of matter, and in the chapter we are going to study the matter such as gaseous matter and liquid states. Okay, so you might be know that there is a physical form of substance like solid, liquid and gas, and these three state of matters they are interconvertible by exchange of heat. For example, by heating this solid matter, this solid we can convert it to liquid. If we again heat this liquid, so it will convert it to gas. If we cool this gas, it again convert to liquid. Again, when we cool this liquid, again is converted to solid. So that means these three state of matter they are interconvertible, and that is depend on the heat. Okay. Now here distinguished point is given between the state of matter such as solid, liquid and gases. So here we will discuss which are the distinguished point is between the which are the difference between solid, liquid and gases. Okay. So here some point is given, like first point is that microscopic view or the what we can say mean atomic molecular separation. Then we will see the arrangement of particles or the atoms of molecules in a solid, liquid or gas. Then how the movement of particles is taking place in solid, liquid or gas. Then next we will see the shape and volume of this state of matters, and then intermolecular space we will see then effect of small change in temperature, what will affect on solid, liquid and gas. Then we will see the compression or the expansion of this solid, liquid and gas. Okay. First point is that microscopic view. Okay. Here in case of the solid, what we can see the main separations or the microscopic view, this molecule is 3 to 5 angstrom. Then liquid, its mean separation is 3 to 10 angstrom. Then in case of the gas is 5 angstrom. Okay. So then what about the arrangement of particle in case of the solid? So the arrangement of particles in solids, they are the tightly held. Okay. They are the tightly close to each other, and important thing is that have the regular arrangement. They are regularly arrangement of atoms, and so atoms or molecules. So what about the liquid? The arrangement of particles in liquid, these particles are loosely packed. Okay, they are loosely packed, and there is a irregular arrangement of particles. Then what about gas? So in case of the gas, particles are more loosely packed, and they are highly irregular arrangement. Okay, they are the moving because they are the moving. That's why they are the irregular arrangement. So here the next point is that movement of particles. In case of the solid, the particles cannot move freely as they occupy the fixed position. In case of the solid, the particles they can't move because of they occupy the fixed position. In case of the liquid, what we can say, particles they can move in a small distance within a liquid. Okay, the movement of particle can move a small distance within the liquid. What about the gas? Particles are in continuous and random motion. So in case of the movement of particles in a gas, the particles in a gas state, they are continuously and random motion. There is no any directions. They are randomly movement is take place of that particle. So what about shape and volume of this solid, liquid and gas state? So in case of the solid, it has the definite shape and volume. Okay, definite shape and volume is fixed shape and volume. So in case of the liquid, this liquids take the shape of the container has definite volume. So this liquid is the take the shape of the container. For example, if we take the water in glass, so what will happen? This water, because of that glass, in particular shape is there. Okay, so that means it take the shape of the container. Because of that glass, water has a particular shape. So what about the shape and volume of the this gas? So take the shape and volume of its container. Okay, these gases take the shape and volume of its container. So fifth point is that intermolecular space. So the, the space between two molecules, so that's called as a intermolecular space. In case of the solid, the very small intermolecular space, the space between two molecules is very small. In case of the liquids, there is a moderate intermolecular space, very moderate and a very minimum amount of space. And here in case of the gas molecules, there is a large intermolecular space. The large amount of intermolecular space, the space between two molecules is present. Okay. So next is that next point, effect of small change in temperature. So what will happen if we change the temperature? So what will happen? So if we increase or decrease the temperature, so we'll see the volume change is just small. If we heat the solid compound or solid, what we can say, solid compound or solid matter, so what will happen? Volume will be changed or it's become the small. If we heat the any liquid compound, so what will happen? The moderate effect on volume change. So moderate effect will take place. That means evaporation will take place. In case of the gas, if we increase or decrease the temperature, so volume change significantly high. So volume will change significantly high is because of the change in the temperature. So seventh point is that compression. So what will happen? The solid is practically not possible to compress. So in case of the liquid, small compressibility is there. We can compress, but very small amount. But we can gas, we can compress. That means it's a compressible. Okay. So next. So what is the intermolecular force? The force between two molecules. It's called as a intermolecular force. So intermolecular force are the attractive force as well as repulsive force present between the neighboring molecules. Okay. So intermolecular force, there is a two type of intermolecular force. One is attractive and another is a repulsive force. Attractive force means what? The two molecules, they are coming close to each other because of the attractive force, and repulsive force, that means they are the repelling from each other, they are going away from each other. So attractive force is decreased with increase the distance between the molecules. For example, you consider these molecules. If we increase the distance between these molecules, if we increase the distance, if we take away these two molecules from more distance, so what will happen? The attractive force will be decreased. Okay, attractive force will be decreased. So the attractive force is decreased with the increasing distance between the molecules. Then next is that intermolecular force is strong in solid, less strong in liquid, and very weak in a gas. Okay, the intermolecular force is strong. So that's why the solids molecule, they are the very highly compressed because of the there is a intermolecular. They are very highly or tightly packed because of the intermolecular force is very strong. In case of the liquid, intermolecular force is definitely there is a present, but there is a very less, we can say. And in case of the uh, liquid gas, there is a completely or very weak intermolecular force are present. Then physical properties of matter such as melting point, boiling point, vapor pressure, viscosity, evaporation, surface tension and solidity can be studied with respect to strength of attractive force between the molecules. So different physical properties like melting point, at which temperature that solid is melt, at which temperature that liquid start to boil, at which temperature that liquid is it undergo evaporation or vapor pressure, what about the viscosity. This all the points we can study is on the basis of, and they are depend on the strength of attractive force between that the molecules. Okay, so then we'll see which are the different type of intermolecular forces, uh, in which dipole-dipole interaction is there. We'll see in details what is the dipole-dipole interactions. Then ion dipole interaction is what. Then dipole-induced dipole interaction is what. Then London dispersion forces means what, and then hydrogen bonding. These are the different type of intermolecular forces. First, we'll see the dipole-dipole interaction. So, what is the dipole-dipole interaction? So, polar molecules experience dipole-dipole forces due to electrostatic interaction between dipole or neighboring molecules. Okay, these polar molecules, for example, this is a HCl. Okay, this HCl, it undergoes dipole-dipole forces. Okay, these are the carries the dipole-dipole interaction of dipole-dipole force, because there is a different charges on this both. So that is a more charge density toward the chlorine is there. Okay, polar molecule experience dipole-dipole forces, polar and non-polar. Polar means what? The polar means this both are the hydrogen chlorine, they are carrying the different charge and they have the attractive force. So that's why they called as a polar molecules. If we consider the H2 molecules, H2 is a non-polar, because and there is an electrostatic force between these non-polar molecules, definitely it will be less. Okay, so here one end or the one pole of molecule has partial positive charge. Okay, this is a positive charge on hydrogen atom, while at the other end of chlorine atom has a partial negative charge, and this is denoted by the delta. Okay, as a result, the polarization, the molecule possesses the dipole moment and it undergoes dipole moment. So this dipole moment, it's actually vector quantity, and it is depicted by the small arrow. You can see this is the small arrow, and with the tail in the positive center. Okay, tail in the positive center and had the, so pointing toward the negative center. So that is called as a dipole-dipole interaction. Okay, so they are more charge density toward the chlorine, so that's why this is the dipole moment. It's a vector quantity and it's depicted as a small arrow, and it has the tail in the positive center and head pointing toward the negative center. So next we will see the intermolecular force, that is a ion dipole interaction. What is the ion dipole interaction? An ion dipole force is the result of electrostatic interaction between an ion, that means cation or anion, and the partial charge on the polar molecule. And partial charge, here you can see this is the, in this picture you can see sodium, it carries the positive charge, and these are the options with negative charge. There is a dipole-dipole forces have the electrostatic interaction between this cation or anion. This is the partial charge on the polar molecule. The strength of this interaction, between sodium and oxygen is depend on the charge and size of the ion. Okay, this is the strength between these both ion is depend on the charge and size of ions, and it also depend on the magnitude of the dipole moment and size of the molecules. Okay, when an ionic compound like for example sodium chloride, when we dissolve in water, so what will happen? So ion gets separated, it's become Na plus or Cl minus, and surrounded by the water molecules here, surrounded by the water molecules, which is called hydration of the sodium ion, and it's called as the hydration of sodium ions. So more the charge on cation, okay, so more the charge on cation, stronger is the ion dipole interaction. If more charge on cation, so what will happen? Stronger is the ion dipole interaction. Ion dipole interaction will be stronger, and thus the strength of interaction, the strength of this interaction increase with increased charge on cation. If charge on cation is increased, so what will happen? The strength and the interaction also increase, and the strength and interaction is decreased in the decrease the ionic size or radius of that particular molecules. Then next is the dipole induced dipole interaction. What is the dipole induced dipole interaction? So here the some polar molecules and here non-polar molecules. When they are formation of non-polar molecules, they induce the dipole moments. Okay, when polar molecules such as this S2, then ammonia, and non-polar molecules like benzene, when they are approached with each other, the polar molecule induce the dipole in the non-polar molecules. Okay, dipole between the non-polar molecules. Hence, the temporary dipoles are formed. Okay, so here the temporary dipole are formed by shifting the electrons cloud in a non-polar molecule. So here the electron cloud is shifted toward the non-polar molecules. Here example is given, ammonia is a polar. This ammonia is a polar and has permanent dipole moment toward this benzene is a non-polar and has the dipole moment is 0. The force of attraction is developed between this polar and non-polar molecules, and such a type of dipole interaction is the dipole induces the dipole interaction. Such a type of intermolecular attraction, so we can say as a dipole induces the dipole interactions. Then next is a London dispersion force. So what is the London dispersion force? The study of intermolecular force present among the non-polar molecules or the individual atom of the noble gas is very interesting. For example, benzene has a zero dipole moment, already we discussed, and experience non-dipole forces that exist in liquid stage. So it is the weakest intermolecular force. London dispersion force is a weak intermolecular force and that developed due to interaction between two non-polar molecules. Okay, this London dispersion force is developed because of the two non-polar molecules. One atoms can affect the electron distribution in the neighboring atom and induce the momentary dipole in them, and as a result there is a weak attractive force is developed. Okay, for example is given substance compound molecules such as O2, that is O2 is it's a non-polar, then CO2, N2, these are the halogens, methane gas, helium and other noble gases show the van der Waals force of attraction, or it's also called London dispersion force. Then next is hydrogen bonding. So what is the hydrogen bonding? So the electrostatic force of attraction between positively polarized hydrogen atom of one molecules and the highly electronegative atom which may be negative charge of the other molecule is called a hydrogen bond. So here we can see in this picture how the hydrogen bond is formed. The strong electrostatic atom that form the hydrogen bond. The hydrogen bond is formed between this nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and hydrogen bond is denoted by this dotted line. This hydrogen bond which occur within the same molecules and represent the intermolecular hydrogen bonds. Okay, so this is the intermolecular hydrogen bond. This hydrogen bond which occur within the same molecules, it's called as a intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Here you can see this is the intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So what is the intramolecular hydrogen bonding? The hydrogen bond present between the two like or unlike molecule represent the intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, this is the different molecules, that is the intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, so next we will see the intermolecular force and thermal energy. So what is the relation between this intermolecular force and thermal energy? We will see. Okay, so thermal energy is the origin of kinetic energy. Okay, the particle of matter that arise due to the movement of particles. Okay, the particle of matter is because of the movement of particle. and it's directly proportional to the temperature. That means thermal energy increase with increasing temperature and vice versa. Okay, if the intermolecular force are very weak, if the intermolecular force are very weak, so what will happen? So molecules do not come together and to make liquid or solid unless thermal energy is decreased by the lowering temperature. When substance is to be converted from its gas state to solid state, what will happen? Its thermal energy or temperature has to be reduced. So at this stage, the intermolecular force become more important than the thermal energy of particles. So intermolecular force is decreased. So gas, liquid or solid, with thermal energy is decreased. So what will happen? Intermolecular force also. So increase the force of, so intermolecular force is increase like this, but the thermal energy is decrease. So this is the intermolecular force and thermal energy. So this is a relation between the intermolecular force and the thermal energy. So this comparison of intermolecular force is given. So in case of the force, these are the different forces. Then this is the strength and a characteristic. So comparison of intermolecular force in ion dipole. So this intermolecular force is moderate and this values is given, and this occur between ion and polar solvents. In case of the dipole force, the strength is weak and this occur between the polar molecules. In case of the London dispersions, this strength is weak and it's occur between the all molecules strength, and this is depend on the sides, and this is a polarizability. Then in case of the hydrogen bond, there is a strength is moderate, that is 10 to 40 kilojoule per mole, and its characteristic occur between the molecules of the oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, hydrogen, and hydrogen fluorine bond. Okay, so next point is that air. So you might be know that what is the air. Air, it is a mixture of different or various gases. So air we cannot see but we feel the because of the cool breeze. The composition of air volume is around 78%. Here nitrogen is there, then 21% oxygen is there, and 1% other gases including the carbon dioxide and all that. Okay, so the chemistry of atmospheric gases is an important subject of study, and it is involved air pollution, and oxygen is the air is the essentials for survival of the aerobic life. So this is the composition of air with respect to proportion of various gases, like 78% is nitrogen, 28% of oxygen, and this the different gases, 1% of other gases include the carbon dioxide. Then next we will see which are the characteristic properties of gases. So first is that gas are the lighter than solid and liquid. Okay, so these gases are the lighter than solid and liquids, and they possess the low density. Okay, so gases is possess the low density. So gas do not possess fixed volume and the shape, but they occupy entire space available and take the shape of the container. We can consider the example of LPG cylinder gas. Okay, so gas molecules, they are the widely separated and are continuously random motions, and therefore gas is exert pressure equally in all direction due to the collision of the gas molecules on the wall of the container. So the intermolecular force of gases is weak. So this is the important characteristic property of gases, and gas possesses the property of diffusion, and which is the spontaneous and homogeneous intermixing of two or more gases, and gas are the highly compressible. We can compress this. So this arrow you can see, with the help of this piston we can compress the gas. So then measurable property of gases, how we can measure the gas. So here mass, volume and pressures. So SI unit of mass of gas is kilogram. If we consider the mass of gas, so we are measuring the mass of gas in kilogram. It's number of molecules upon Avogadro's number, that is n upon 6.022 into 10 raised to 23. So then volume of gas. So volume of sample of gas is the amount of space it occupy, and it is expressed in term of different unit like liters, then milliliter, then cubic centimeter, cubic meter or the decimeter cube. Okay, the SI unit of volume is cubic meter. So most commonly used unit to measure the volume of the gas is the decimeter or decimeter cube or liter. So 1 liter is equal to 1000 ml, that is 1000 centimeter cube, 1 decimeter cube. Okay, so if you want to measure the gas in pressure form, so how we can measure the pressure of the gas? So pressure is defined as force per unit area. So pressure is a force upon area, F upon A. So this pressure of gas is measured with this manometer. Okay, this is manometer, and the atmospheric pressure is measured by the barometer. The SI unit of pressure is a Pascal, or the Newton per meter is a square. Okay, these are the parameter of the pressures. Okay, so with the help of this unit we can measure the gas. So then temperature, in scientific measurement of temperature, this temperature is measured in Celsius scale or degree Celsius in Kelvin. So here note is given, note that degree sign is not used in a Kelvin unit. The SI unit temperature of gas is Kelvin, and the Celsius and Kelvin scale are related by the expressions. It is temperature in Kelvin 3 degrees Celsius plus 273.15. So with the help of this we can convert Kelvin to degree Celsius. Okay, so next is the density. What is the density? D is equal to m by v. So density we can calculate with the help of this formula. The mass per unit volume, density is equal to mass per unit volume. So then what is the diffusion? In case of the gases, rate of diffusion of two or more gases is measured. Rate of diffusion is equal to the volume of gas diffused and the time required for the diffusion, and the SI unit of the rate of diffusion is a decimeter cube. Okay, so remaining part we will continue in the next lecture.